we're ready for the 1 hour class. I know. 3 hours sounds like an eternity. But listen, I was really busy in March, putting together reports, plans, paperwork. Basically everything I didn't want to do, but someone had to, because of the new school year kicking off. So I thought, how do I make it up to you? With a normal class? No way. With a double class. Or a triple? We're going to be here for a while today, so grab some snacks. Just so you know, your average YouTuber will probably chop all this content into 4 or 5 separate videos with epic thumbnails and titles like "This is the only mutable video that you need to see." But not here. I'd rather throw it all at you in one go, because the result of the first part only makes sense once you see how we implement everything in Game Animation Sample. There's just one more thing before we dive into the big stuff. First, we're going to talk about some issues certain air meshes and their LODs have on some metahumans when downloaded at medium quality. Someone on Discord showed me the problem and I thought it was worth sharing here, so the first half hour is going to be dedicated to explaining that. Then we'll move on to the main course. We'll import a couple of new meshes, the fusion of 2 metahuman halves, with the merge of the skeleton and all bones ready for real-time facial morph comparability. After that, we'll set up all the rigs, the PostProcess and MVP, IK system and Retarget. Everything needed so the game animation sample can actually use them without problems. And after surviving all that, we'll dive into Mutable and test everything inside gas. There's a lot to see, there's a lot to digest, and worst of all, there's no escape now. Good luck, and let's get started. I wanted to quickly mention an issue that came up with one of the students in the previous video, something we actually solved together over on Discord. Basically, some metahumans models, when downloaded in medium quality, don't have their LOD set up properly. What does that mean? Well, that's depending on how far the camera is. Certain part of the characters, like the air, eyebrows, or even part of the body might just disappear. For example, here you have the air, but if you get a little closer, the air disappears. And the problem was that this is the air of that person, of that user, and this is the air of my character. And as you can see, all these LODs are missing. Okay, we fix it eventually, but this fix actually was super simple. We update the metahuman to high quality and that solved everything, or I would say to epic quality. So if you notice that something's missing, maybe they are vanished or the eyebrows are gone, try this. Open your metahuman and move the camera closer and further away from the character. Let me show you. For example, open drawing. There. Okay, as you can see, the air is still there. If you zoom in, zoom out, and some of the air or the room itself are missing, it's because you have your LODs broken. So what you need to do is to download the cinematic version of the character. If you can use cinematic because you have a medium computer, something that doesn't have a lot of memory, or a VGA, an old VGA, sorry, an old graphic card, VGA, you can download the medium or high in one part, in another project download the cinematic and migrate the air only to the project where you have the medium quality. That way you will have a medium quality MetaHuman with cinematic air with the LODs correctly set up. You can also notice that I have 4 more MetaHumans because we will use it in this video. We have Megumi, Shigeru, Kayla, and Ikon. Okay, we'll see them later, but I will add the DNA files in the description for you to download. Also, LODs has an air change, and the reason is because let me show you, because as you can see there is no simulation. And okay, give me a second, it's working, but if I enable simulation you see the collision here. So some of the errors are broken, so I fixed it by disabling the simulation, but just in case, my new list, this one has a new error. Wait a second. Yes, the error is perfect. I didn't use it yet in the system, but you can see that I have changed the error. So no, it's a fresh. So update list and download all these ones. We will use this 6 for now for the system. Okay, I will leave you the DNA files at the description. Okay, before we start, I want to show you something. I have here our customizable object instance Roy, and I have disconnected the ground just to show you something. In this case, we're using 2 meshes, the body and the head. Okay, this is the head. Second, and the head has a skeleton with all the bones that rules the morph, the head morphs. All the things that you need for the labeling to create any kind of suppression are driven by these bones. But let me check here in mail. For this we have the MetaHuman body, and this has its own skeleton, the one that came with MetaHumans, that has no bone information for the face. So we have basically 2 skeletons. One rigged for facial expressions, and the body without nothing. Basically, it has nothing, no morph, no anything. Okay, let me check if actually yes, it has no morph. You have no morphs here. In the faces you have all these ones, and we can test those like this. Okay, these are all my morphs. Now, what if I told you that if we bake this, we're actually creating 2 skeletons, or we will use 2 skeletons, because when we bake this I am mixing MetaHuman with Mutable. When we bake this mutable character, because it's used 2 different meshes with 2 different skeletons, it will create 2 additional skeletons, one for the face or the head, and another with the body, for the body. Sorry, it's too late. I am too exhausted. For the body, and performance wise, that's not the optimal thing that you want to achieve, because you will be loading 2 skeletons for each character. That's not probably the best thing to do. So you need to merge the skeleton, the body with the head. And also, while I was studying that, I saw that if I introduce morph for the body, for example, like a muscular or a fat one, this neckline, actually you can see anything. Let me see if I can check this. No, you can't see anything here because the Metahuman is great, but you have actually 2 meshes here. I shouldn't have closed this. Okay, the head, let me check the head. If, for example, I want to add a body morph, for example, a fat one, because the head actually includes some part of the neck and part of the torso, we will have to create the same morph, the same fat morph, or the same muscular morph in the 2 meshes, in the head and in the body. That's actually quite possible because you just need to merge the meshes in Maya or Blender, create the morph, then cut again the 2 meshes using this line. It's possible. I tried it, actually I made it, but the problem is that when you try to adjust the slider, sometimes the body doesn't, it has problem actually to expand the meshes with the slider at the same speed than the head. What I mean is that you can see small gaps between the 2 meshes when you are moving a slider, for example, from a normal body to a fat one, because there are slightly difference in 1 pixel or 2 pixel. I will not say pixels, sorry, vertices of the mesh between the join of the 2 ones that we're using, and you can see actually some small gaps from time to time. So the best approach will be to use just one single mesh for the body and the head, or at least for the body up to here. Imagine a virtual and invisible line here. Okay, so you can't see anything when you are actually changing slider from the body. And then I was thinking, but wait, we can actually merge on top of this a helmet or a jacket, because Mutable is actually designing for that. Why we couldn't just swap heads by using a second head on top of this one? And say, okay, that's the solution actually, because the same way that we can swap, I don't know, a jacket, we can swap a head. It's the same. It will be merged. Mutable will take care of everything, and if both meshes has the same skeleton, we won't have any kind of problem between the mesh and the skeleton. And also, we will retain the benefits of using a head separated from the entire body, so when we add the corresponding morph for the body, we won't see any vertices, holes, I would say, or seams between the 2 meshes. So the solution was to create an unifying mesh. Let me show you. I will sub Unreal Engine versions. Here we have our skeleton. Actually, here I have a mesh that has been merged, okay, the head and the body, and one skeleton that has all the bone from the metahumans, and here all the facial bones, all the bone for the facial expressions. It took me some time to actually make it, but let me show you. All the morph targets are here, and they work. Okay, and this is what we're gonna do. I will not create a Blender video class, a tutorial about Blender. I will provide the skeleton. We will import this in a few seconds, but we need to create all the post-processing material, all the post-processing blueprints and the control breaks and everything to make this unified mesh playable. So we have here our full body list and our full body row, and these two will be the reference. On top we will add the heads, the jackets, the trousers, or whatever thing you want to add. Let me show you how it will look. For example, here, as I said before, we will include 4 more metahumans. I have everything set up here. We have Roy, Shigeru, and Icon. Okay, and for Liz we have Liz, Megumi, Kyla. Okay, close it please. Okay, before we continue, the idea of Mutable, okay, is to make our instance in something smaller and performance wise than this customizable object instance. If we use, for example, this thing with these 2 instances inside our character, we will not be using the full power of Mutable in our project, because we're loading everything. We're loading an unbaked character, and that's not what we want to do. We want that the jacket is baked on top of the body, and we're hiding the triangles that are not visible because our clothes on top of this. Because I saw the other day a video where someone actually used this customizable object instance inside gas, and I was saying, okay, no, that's not the way that you have to do this, because actually the idea is to make everything, to have a new instance with less triangle, with less texture, with less everything. So before we start with this, I want to show you the 4 possible bake options that you have. One is to, I have the 4 here, I already baked those, is to bake just like this with no extrusion. Another one will be to export all used resources, for example the head, the skeleton, and everything. And when I say export, is to create a copy of all those. If you generate constant material instance, you're actually doing something similar of not checking anything, but with materials that are constant, that you cannot change them at runtime. And if you check both, well, actually you create new skeleton, new meshes, new materials, and the materials are constant. I would say that probably what you want to do is to not select anything, or because you don't want to to create new instance of the skeleton, and I will show you in a few seconds why, or to just select this one here. This is when you don't select anything, and I bake icon. Actually, I bake this character, and as you can see, I have the head. I didn't set the LOD, so you know that. I will explain later why this is actually this look like this. I will show you later. Oh, you will understand when we actually add a few volumes to cut the mesh, because it doesn't make a clear cut. And the body. As you can see that I am actually cutting the body in the line that I saw that we should cut it. But the important thing that I want to show you is that this head and this body are both using the same skeleton. Okay, our full body skeleton. The head is using this skeleton and the body is using this skeleton. And because our skeleton use our facial bones, okay, this baked mesh has its post-processing intact, and I can show you here that it's actually working. One thing I want to clarify is that I don't have Morph tag here because here I didn't provide any kind of logic. Okay, we will do it later, but at least you can see that it's actually working. So we have post-processing working. We have actually this skeleton is retargeted, or I will say we will retarget this skeleton using the corresponding key, and you will see that it's actually working perfectly. So this is one option, to bake here just the basic thing. But if you select export all users resources, you will create the two meshes, okay, again, but you will also be creating two new skeletons, one skeleton for the face. This face is using this skeleton, and this body is using another skeleton. So you have here a new head skeleton and a new body skeleton, while here these two meshes use just one skeleton, this one. I don't know if this is a bug, because technically speaking these two meshes should be using the same skeleton, and here actually create, for example, it's create a skeleton, a full body skeleton with all the facial expression bones, the bones for the facial expression, sorry. There's no need, because you have this skeleton and this one are actually the same thing, are the same skeleton. So I think that this is something that has to be fixed with Mutable. So I do not recommend to check the option to export everything. And another one, and it's probably the most obvious one, is that you are creating a new skeleton. That means that this skeleton has nothing to do with our control rigs. Why my head is not showing here? Sorry. Give me a second. No, it's actually there. It's strange. It's weird. Okay. Like I was saying, this head has its own skeleton, and this skeleton has nothing to do with our control rigs. And because of that, no, this is the skeleton actually, sorry. Because of that, our post-processing is broken. Why? Because we have created a new skeleton and it says that it's incompatible, which it doesn't have sense, doesn't make any sense, because the skeleton of this mesh is the same skeleton as the one that is using this body. Okay, these two skeletons, this and this, are exactly the same, but Mutable create an instance of both skeletons, a copy of both skeletons, one for the head and one for the body. So you should be careful when you bake. Maybe they will fix this in the future and create just one skeleton, and I don't know, maybe fix the way that the skeleton interact with the control rigs and the post-processing animations. But if you bake the resources like this, your rigs and your post-processing material, again, post-processing material, your post-processing animation, your post-processing and MVP will stop working because it will not recognize this skeleton. The 3 is the same, but with the constants. Let me show you. This is the normal body and this is the constant body. Okay. Then it's different is that it has all the things checked, but for some reason UFM prefer to do the second one. Okay, the constant material instance. And the last one actually is everything these two combined. And as you can see, if this new skeleton break our post-processing and our control rigs, you can imagine that this also do it. So you have to be careful when you bake. Okay, that's, and I want to show you what I did with the mesh and the skeleton on Blender. Okay, here I prefer to use Maya, but in this tutorial I want to use free software so anyone can follow, because I will be providing the blend files, and if I use Maya, someone will say, no, Martin, wait, I don't have a fortune to pay for Maya version, so let's just use free software. Here's Roy, okay, and I have just one mesh. Just one mesh. Okay, this is just one mesh. Okay, one mesh. I merge, I clean all the vertices, I merge it by distance, I do all the things that need to be done to merge the meshes. And also I merge the skeleton. Okay, let me show you. It's too late, my eyes are closing. Here we have the neck 1 bone, and here is the first bone for the facial expression. Okay, and then we have the neck 2 with our second facial expression bone, and the third one with all the corresponding bones, okay, one by one. Okay, all the bones that drive the logic or the animation for the face. So literally I have merged the skeleton, the two skeleton and the two meshes. Okay, remember that in Metahuman you have two meshes, body and head, and two skeleton, one for the body, one for the head. No, sorry, I should. Let me show you where is it. Display. There. It's actually working. Okay, our body and our head are connected, and so do this bone skeleton for the head and the body. After you have downloaded the file that I leave in the description and unzip it, you will find two folders, one for Liz and one for Roy. And inside each one of them, you have a blend file if you want to check what I was doing with the mesh, the skeleton, or if you want to add a few things, you have the blend file here. And these four are the FBX that I exported from this file, corresponding to the LOD0 and the other three. We need to import the main one, which is this, and the three LODs for Liz and Roy. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, character creation, core, characters. Create a new folder called full bodies. We will delete these two later, but now we need to import those skeletons, or those meshes with their corresponding skeleton, and this may take a while. Select, for example, Roy, the first one, not the three LODs, the first one, click open and wait. This is a heavy file, okay? It will take some time. I will cut the videos and edit later so you can skip all this part, but it's gonna be a long wait. So go and grab a coffee, a cup of tea, or whatever you want to have, and come back in a few minutes. Okay, we are back. It took me at least 5 minutes to import this, so be careful here. Do not select anything. We want to create a new skeleton, we want to create a new physics body. We don't have LODs, so skip that. Import Retarget, this is important. We don't have Morph, yeah, we have a few Retarget, but we don't have, for example, face Retarget here. Animation, we don't have animation. You can check or uncheck that. Yes, set the default, like the default that you have here. But most important, do not select any skeleton, any of these ones here. Okay, we need to create a new one. Okay, import. And this will also take some time. Okay, was faster than I thought. It's still importing. Yes, this thing. No, here, the full body. Okay, open Roy full body, and the first thing that you may want to fix are the materials. So let's go to bodies, open this body, copy the body synthesizer or whatever material for the body that you have, and the first one is the body. Okay, we have our body here. And for the head, we need to open. We'll use Roy, of course, right here, and we need to copy some of these, not all of them. The LODs are not included here. So head shader is this one. the teeth. You can see it, but they're there. Lacrimal, and basically follow the same naming convention. Okay, there. Body, head, teeth, lacrimal fluid, the eyes, left and right, eyes occlusion, lacrimal and cartilage. Be extra careful with all these names here. For reference, you can use the ID. For example, the first one, this slot, which will be the 0, its ID is body synthesized, so winky, use the body's material here: head, teeth, lacrimal, is refractive, left and right occlusion, etc. Use the ID to match with the corresponding material. And also I have changed the name, too much noise here, to SKM, which means skeletal mesh, full body, SK means skeleton, PA physical asset. Okay. And now we need to repeat the process for the female. Okay, so open list full body and go and grab your second cup of tea or coffee or whatever you want, because this will take another 5 to 10 minutes depending on your machine. Okay, pay attention here. When we import the female, as you can see, it's recognized our full body, this one. We can click import and let the importer to finish this, but some case this actually break the engine. I don't know if it will happen to you, but I prefer to deselect this, okay, and leave everything as it. I click import, and after we fix the material, we will swap the skeleton. Okay, same process, please. And open this, copy body, paste body, and for the head we need the list head. Okay, list here, open it, and repeat the process basically, and use the ID name for reference. Okay. Okay, there. Okay, check that everything's correct here. Yep. Save, close, and now delete all these generated materials and rename this. Skeletal mesh. That will be our female full body. We will re-import this again, maybe in future video when we incorporate body morph, but for now just leave them just like that. Okay, this one, physical asset, female full body. Okay, and now go to female full body, right click, skeleton, assign skeleton, and select this one, the first skeleton that we have created. Okay, everything should be fine here. Select it, because there are these two skeletons are exactly the same, and you can delete this one. Next, we need to import the LODs. We have LODs, only one LODs here and here. We need 4, but you need as many as you need. But I will use only 4. Okay, let me show you. This is LOD 0. Okay, it's a very dense mesh. It's Metahuman LOD 0. Sorry, I too exhausted. It's 1 AM here. Look at the head. It's extremely dense. Okay, and we have only LOD 0. So go here and number of LODs, select 4 and apply change and wait. Unreal Engine will generate 3 LODs. LOD 0 is 1 and the other 3 are LOD 1, 2 and 3. But it will mess up with the topology, you will see it. But we need that those LOD to be created before we import our mesh. There, look at this. This is awful. This topology is horrible. 2 and 3. Nah. Okay, you have 2 ways to import the new meshes. One is to select here, select for example here, and select the corresponding LOD. However, pay attention, reimport LOD level 1. This is actually the mesh that we already have imported, the base one, the LOD 0. Level 2 is this, which is LOD 1. LOD 3, level 3 is LOD 2. And level 4 is LOD 3. So if you don't want to get confused with this, what I suggest is that you select here LOD 1, and here on the right you have these 2 buttons, and select the one that say reimport new file. Go to raw full body, and here you have here in the top LOD 1, and you need to select raw full body LOD 1. Okay, LOD 1, LOD 1, and you cannot miss it that way. Open, and Unreal will try to import the new mesh, the LOD 1, into this mesh, into the mesh that we have in front of us right now. It will take 1 minute, maybe less, depending on your computer. So be prepared to have a second or a third coffee in this class. I will pause the video and re-enable it later because we will need to repeat this process several times, each for each LOD. Okay, and most important, when it's finished re-importing the new mesh, you will see a window that pops up here that say something like LOD 1 successfully imported or something like that. And after you don't see that window, you cannot import anything else, because you will break the engine, but you will break the editor basically, not the engine, and you will mess it up with the LODs. So one way to be sure, if for example you are not in front of the computer while you are importing the LODs, is to check this button that says reimport. If you go to the bathroom or wherever and miss this pop-up, and you know if the LOD has been importing correctly or not, basically after a few minutes it's ready, check this. If you have this reimport button enabled, it's because that you have correctly reimport or import for the first time the LOD. You will see in a few seconds. Also, you can check the topology. Of course, this is a complete disaster. Once we import the LOD1, you will see what I am talking about. There, wait a few seconds. Go. This time it's actually variable depending on your computer. Okay, there, as you can see, we have reimport here. This means that we have a mesh with a nice topology which corresponds to the LOD1, and generated is gone. So this is LOD0 and this is LOD1. Now select LOD2 and repeat the process, but this time this says LOD2 and select LOD2. There, I will pause the video and enable record it again when we finish. Okay, this is LOD2. Select LOD3 and re-import the LOD3. Repeat the process. Okay, this is LOD3, and as you can see, the left eye is broken. But don't worry, you will see this LOD like this far, so it doesn't change anything. Maybe in the future I will fix this, but for the time being, this will do. Okay, we have LOD3, LOD0, LOD1, LOD2, LOD3. If you mess it up with this and you need to start again, just select one, regenerate, it will delete all the LODs, then select 4 again, regenerate, and start over again. We are done with ROI, and we need to repeat the process with the female full body. Okay. Again, select 4, apply changes, and wait for the engine to generate our LODs. There, select LOD1. Let me check each wireframe because I want to check this. Okay, LOD1. Look at this horrible topology. Import new file, and in this case select the least full body because we're in the female version. LOD1, LOD1, open, and wait, and go for another cup of coffee. Okay, it's on. LOD0, 1, 2, and 3 for the female version. Remember that this is supposed to be used like this far, so don't worry about it. Maybe in the future I will fix that eyes, but for the time being, this will do. And there you go. We have a male full body skeletal mesh with 4 LODs and no DNA attached. We will fix that in a few seconds, and the same for the female body. Okay, now we will import the DNA files because, for example, here in ROI, our face, this face, sorry, I don't know if this has a DNA attached to it or not. No DNA attached. It doesn't matter. You have the DNA here in source assets. So you have full bodies here. Remember these two. Go to ROI, source assets, right click, show in Explorer, select the DNA, and drag it to full bodies. And here select the male full body because ROI used the male one. Okay. and import. And now this full body has a DNA file. A DNA file is important because we will use it for the morph target. If we don't provide the DNA information, we will not be able to link the post-processing animation for the facial expression with this mesh. So repeat the process for LODs. Go to LODs, so assets, you can see anything, but if you select Show Explorer, you have this DNA. Full bodies, and in this case is the female full body. List DNA, female full body, import. Okay, and you now have a completely reshaped full body character with martial skeleton and the correct DNA file. We need two things to create the we need two or three things. We need to create the post-processing animations, the control rigs, the Retarget, and we will create something in the game animation sample to test all this. Go to Metahumans, common, face, and we need this, and this 5 things. So here in full bodies, let's create a folder called rig, and common face, select face and MVP, face control board, face post processing, head movement and neck, and drag it to rig and select copy. Now we need to assign the corresponding skeleton for each one of these assets. Our skeleton is this one. So for the MVP is right click, assign skeleton, paste, full body, accept. There. Okay. The tumble image has changed to a full body. The face post-process and MVP is also an animation blueprint, so right click, assign skeleton, paste it, and everything is okay, accept. There. Okay, face control board, control rig, open it. Come on. Oh, this is the heavy one. Okay, select GRP edge control, right click, refresh, and here select our full body, male full body, and wait. Hold it. There. Compile and save. This is the heaviest one. Head movement key. Same thing. Select the root. Right click. Refresh. Select the mesh. Full body. Select our male full body. Hold it. Compile and save. And finally, open this. Root, right click, refresh, select mesh, full body, select the male, compile and save. And now we need to fix a few things inside these files. Where do I start? Let's start here. I think that, okay, let me check quickly because I can't remember in which one we need to add a few things. No, this is, we will not touch this at all. Leave this alone, don't touch it. Face purposes. Okay, let me check. Okay, a name graph here. Control rig. It's using the old one, okay? This one, the one that is in Metahuman command face. And we need is head movement IK proc control rig. And we should select this one. Wait, I will rename this because we will mess it up. Okay, select here instead of face, full body and MVP. This will be our full body control board control rig. Full body, PostProcess and MVP. Full body, body, head movement, IK pro control rig, and full body, neck control rig. There. Open. Okay, let's open the PostProcess first. Here, control rig, and instead of the head movement, we will select our full body head movement. There. Here, control rig. Using the neck control rig, select the full body neck control rig. It's raining. Okay, that's all here. Let's go with full body and MVP. And graph is yes, now it's raining. We need to change this. The storm is here. I need to change this. Let me check this control rig. Okay, this is the one that we will not touch. We need to do a few things here because the IQ will not work. And in the neck, we will not touch this. And I think that the overall purpose, yes, is done. So we need to do two more things. We need to add the IQ here, and we need to change a few things here. Okay, let's change the pose first. Okay, we have this animation and this pose. We will copy both, so select the mockup, drag it into full bodies and copy. Okay, there. And we need to select our skeleton mockup. This is an animation, so right click, replace skeleton, paste it, body, Okay, and you're done. And in this case you can do the same, replace a skeleton, sky full body. Okay, save it, and you have, okay, let's open this. For some reason the old animation changed the skeleton. I want to fix that before we skip with this. Here it says MH, which means metahuman, and I will add full body. The same here, metahuman, full body, because I don't want to here. Now, this is a bug actually, because it's changed the skeleton. So right click, find the skeleton, is this one, which is located in content metahuman common face. So right click here, skeleton, and here the top one, and restore the skeleton for this animation, because we will break it if not. Okay, there. So our animation and our pose are ready, I think. Yes, look at this. So we have a full body. What you can do is, just to be sure, select our full body here, the male one, and here select our, wait, this is the animation. Okay, so select this one, the full body, save it, restore source, save it. Let me check. I think that updates just in case. And here the same, full body male, date. I think that, yeah, I am not missing anything. Yeah, that should be everything, but it's not working here because I am missing something. Ah, yes, of course I am missing something. Bricks, where it was, I think that here, maybe, yes, here. We need to select our new, this is the pose, this pose. And technically that should be everything. No, it's not working. I am missing something. I don't know why, but I am missing something. Okay, found it. It was actually silly for me. Here, open male full body, and here we didn't check the post-processing MVP. Select the post-processing, not this one. And now if we open this animation, it's actually working. If you open the pose, you can see one by one. And here, if we select a specific animation, and this one is working. So our facial bones are working. We have the complete setup. We have 4 LODs setup, metahuman merged with one skeleton with working post-process material. And if you want to check this one, it's also working. Okay, let me check something, because I think that yes, I think that I have used an instance of this. Okay, just in case, I will create a duplicate of all these, because I will use one for male and one for female. So let's rename this to Roy underscore full body underscore h, which is metahuman underscore arcade mapping, etc, etc, etc. So here Roy underscore full body underscore nh there, and let's create a folder called Roy and move it here. Create a new folder called list, and we will copy these two into list and rename this to list. And list. Okay, it's the same skeleton, but we'll change this to the female. As you can see, it's not working yet. For the female update, say nothing more here. Okay, close it. And the list, this one, selected this body, reset, select the list full body update, and here this is the male animation, select the female, their restore sources, and we have a valid copy for Roy and Liz. Yep. And now here at rig, select the post-process, right click and create child and name blueprint with the skeleton. Select the full body skeleton, create child, and call it Roy full body post-process. And two folders, one will say Roy, another will say Liz, and this one drag it into Roy. Again, full body post-process, right click, create child animal class, so skeleton, Liz, full body post-process. Now let's fix a few things in those two. In Roy, this should stay the same. Now here, select the Roy pose. This is Roy, and here correct the pose. Okay, let's select full body, Roy full body. Okay, compile and save. Yes, and yes. And let's go with this one, open it, select the female mesh, and here select the list pose, and detail select the full body list here. Now finally open the male skeletal mesh and select our Roy full body post-processing, and check that this is actually working. Select Roy, and this is working. Okay, so we finish with Roy. select list, and select list, full body, PostProcess and MVP. Save it. And this is working. There. Facial expression, labeling, post-processing material, done. Okay. We need to fix the key bonus, but we will not touch any of these. We will use the Retarget solution that Game Animation Sample provides. Create a new folder called Retarget, and it was in gas, Metahumans, common, rigs, here. Select the I key, Metahuman Retarget, and you have two here, NRW, which means normal, and OBW, which means overweight. Select the first two, and I create a folder called Retarget. Oh, sorry. Don't create the Retarget folder inside. No, yes. No, not this, not here. Okay, you have the mesh here, the skeleton here, Retarget, there. You have the read, Retarget, and the mockup. Common, rigs, select these two, and copy them to Retarget. Copy. The first one will be high key, full body underscore metahumans underscore Retarget, and this one will be UFN2 full body underscore metahumans metahuman, there, that's the name. Copy this name and go to blueprints here in animation sample and open here Retarget. This is the here Retarget, and we need the IQ Retarget map, and we need to add a new one. See, add a new element. The name will be exactly the name of our Retarget, this one. Okay, compile and save. Now we need to fix a few things. Come on. Okay, Retarget, open it, and instead of this mesh we will use, of course, our this. Okay, the mail full, yes, and you have everything ready, and the solver, everything, it's everything here. Save. Open the Retarget, and here, no, it's already, no, it's not set up. Okay, this I key should be this one. Oh, here we are. And select the rules, and translation mode should be globally scale, and that's it. This should be everything. Technically, these two full bodies should work with game animation sample just like that. So we will test it before we continue with Mutable. So character, no, sorry, blueprints, Retarget. Let's copy Kellen, duplicate it, metahuman, I don't know, custom. I will change it. I change the name later. Open it. Delete everything. say goodbye, 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 goodbye the feet, goodbye the face, the torso, the legs, just the body, okay? And what we need, sorry, is to this name. So go to body, tag, and copy this name. Okay, and finally here we need to select, for example, our main body. Okay, I will reset everything just in case. It's not showing anything, so let's close it and open it again. No, sorry, where is this? It is here. Okay, open it. And here we have our Metahuman. Okay. Now blueprints. Oh, here. For settings. And instead of the sample character, let's select our Metahuman custom. And if everything is done correctly, we have, okay, I will fix that now. Okay, what's happening here? I never, sorry, I forgot to delete a few things. Delete everything here. Our body. Yes, I want to put the mesh 2 centimeters below the line, probably. Let's check it. No. 1.5. There. So this is our Metahuman. It's working perfectly. Look at this, our IK are working. And this is a full body Metahuman, because yeah, it's a full body Metahuman. Look at this, beautiful. Yep. It's working. So we have a working character. Okay, let's go to Mutable. Bodies. Okay, let's do this. And select the heads and open the mill bodies. And here we need to set our new full body. Okay, this. My section. Delete this. we have all the other materials here, and we need to add them. So I will move this here, mesh section, actually if you compile and save, well, you're not seeing anything, but if you want to preview something with while you are using an export component pin, the best way is to select character here, compile, save, and there you go. Okay, you can see it right here. But we need to restore all the other materials. Mesh section, teeth, we will use a database later, but for the time being we will do everything manually. And we have our eyes back. Okay, we need to repeat the process with the female body, but in this case we will use our female. Section, just repeat everything again. And if you want to preview everything, select character here and save. And select female. There we have one full body mesh in both cases, and we will use this base, this model, this merged body as a reference. We will swap head using this character. Okay, this will be our starting point. We will swap head, we will swap arms, we will add morphs, but this will be our starting point for the male and for the female. Look at this, we have only one LOD, and that is because we always set, come on, here, LOD 0. But we have LOD 1, 2 and 3. Okay? We'll do that later. So what I want to do, at least for this video, is to have the ability to swap heads and correct the skin based on the head. And for that purpose I will download, you will download my new characters. I will leave in the description, sorry, the image files so you can import these extra characters and download them using Bridge. Megumi, Shigeru, Kaylee, Anikon, and if you want you can update lists that is using a new air. Cinematic in case that you have problem with the LODs for the ARs and everything. This form, we will use the head of each one of these, the body skin, and in the future the hair. Probably we will use the hair of this and this in the tree, and this hair type, this hair type, and this hair type on these three females. So they will share everything except for the skin. Okay, in these three cases I wanted to add at least 3 presets. Okay, 3 presets for each gender, and this. So download those and we will continue from that. I think that it's already too late here. It's, yes, 2:26. Okay, I will stop here and finish this tomorrow. Okay, before we resume the video where we left it yesterday, I just want to say that here you have several parts in which you can literally mess it up. Maybe you don't assign the correct skeleton, maybe you don't change the reference of each controller inside their corresponding blueprint, or maybe you didn't set this correctly, and if you just make one mistake, this is not gonna work. Okay, I am saying that because probably some of you will say something like, hey, it's not working, Martin, fix it. And I have no idea where you literally what part you're missing, what reference you avoid, what thing you didn't select. So pay attention, and if you can make the control rigs and all the facial expression working, just repeat the process. Okay, you have a lot of part where you can actually miss something. Okay, we need to download new Metahumans. Okay, so be prepared. Okay, you should have the Metahumans file in the description, and once you add it to your library, we can start download those. Okay, so I will download these 4. Actually, I have already downloaded 4, and I will add them. Okay, just basic stuff. Okay, just download them. Don't import anything. Okay, and repeat the process for the 4. Okay, once you have downloaded everything, here I have my 6 Metahumans. Check that you have the source asset in each one of these assets, because inside these are the DNA. Okay, before we make some changes in Mutable, I want to talk about this. Can I change the height of the skeletal meshes in Morph, make it real time? And basically the answer is no. One of the limitations one can find when using more targets with the skeletal mesh is that skinning may breaks. So changing the height of character using more targets is a case where this limitation will probably be encountered, so its use is discouraged. better option will be okay to use one transform. So we will use one transform for the height, but we need to set the base mesh height for both character, so both start at the same level, at the same height. Don't use any kind of morph to swap between tall, small, or normal height. Okay, take that into consideration. We will use transform later, but we will start with mesh that are not exactly of the same height but similar. So just for reference, this is our basic male body, which is 1 meter 76 centimeter, basically my height. This is considering the head. Okay, this is considered the head, and we were using this version of the female that is 1 meter 62 centimeters 1 meter 62 centimeters, but now we'll swap to this one, which is like 7 centimeter taller. The full body that we have just imported and set in everything this are using those proportions. Okay, let's open it. No, it wasn't considering the head. Okay, okay, it doesn't matter. This is 1 meter 88 and this is 1 meter 8. Okay, 80. This is the tall version. There is 8 centimeters between these two, but before we swap to the tall version, this was like 1 meter 70 something, and there was like more than 15 centimeters between the two bodies. Just for reference, in the old version the female was, for example, like this high, this tall. So update royal list, or I will say update list. Okay, update list. When you download the Metahumans, sorry, when you download Metahumans, please update list. Okay, no, my Metahumans, this update list, please. And in fact, because I have updated list here, I still conserve the medium body. Let me check. Yes, I can delete it without problem, but if I want to delete this, our metahuman, my metahuman actually is using this body and not this one. So I will delete this, but the problem now is that this face is not the same as this one. Okay, this is the old one. Let me open it so I can show you that they are not the same face. So look at the neck. This here. No, it's the same, but in my case it's the same because I have updated the mesh. Sorry, but you probably have the old one. Okay, the old mesh, but update this one with the new face, the one that you have here, and you're done. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have downloaded here all the extra metahumans: Icon, Kayla, Megumi, and Shigeru. Let's create a new folder called Icon, Kayla, Megumi, and Shigeru. Let's start with Icon, face, this face, copy the face here, okay, or the head mesh, the face mesh. Kayla, face, locate Kayla face mesh and copy to Kayla here. Okay. What else? Megumi face. This is the face. Copy this to Megumi. And Shigeru, the face. This is the Shigeru face. And copy the face here. Why only the face? Well, because we will use the same body for all the males and female metahumans. Here at common, here at icon, for example, you have this body, but it's actually the same body as the one that Roy is using. These two are the same body but with different skin. So we will just use our full body, but we will swap materials. Okay, before we start with Mutable, I need to fix the DNA files because there is no DNA attached here. So go to Metahuman, icon, and here in Source Assets, right click, Show in Explorer, icon, grab it, and there's icon. And as you can see, the icon DNI recognizes the icon face mesh. Click in import, and there we have our DNA file already loaded here. And you can check it by going here, and you can see here Metahuman DNA data. Okay, below post processing we have the Metahuman DNA data. Okay, yes. We need to repeat the process for the others. Kayla, so asset, show in Explorer, Kayla, there. Kayla, recognize the Kayla face mesh, yes, import, Kayla. There, DNA, we have our DNA matching that mesh that we need because we want to use a real-time face morph. We need a DNA file for that. Show Explorer, Megumi. Here, Megumi, import, save, Shigeru, show Explorer, Shigeru, there. If you didn't do the same with Roy, in my case I did the same with Roy and I did the same with Liz, but yes, you need to be sure that the 6 head mesh has their own DNA file attached to, because the DNA file has information about vertices and other things that we need to the face morphs, basically to use the face morphs. What we need to do now is to change the skeleton. Okay, all the heads will use our full body skeleton, so let's go with icon, right click, skeleton, assign skeleton, and there, accept. Go to Kayla, then Liz, Liz, in my case I already select here the full body skeleton. Okay, but what I did again, it's the same, it's using the same skeleton. Megumi, and Roy, yes, it's Sky full body, yeah, it's using the full body skeleton. So my Roy has a skeleton, has a DNA, and my list has a skeleton and has a DNA and is the Tor version. Okay, be careful with that. Okay, one more thing is that if you want, you can, for example, open icon and here select. Okay, look at this. Yes, because we have swapped the skeleton, but don't worry, we have our full body Roy full body post-process animation. Okay, select this, and now it's working. Okay, we need to fix the post-processing animation in each of our heads. So Kayla or Kyla, I don't know how you pronounce Kyla in English. Here in Spanish it's pronounced Kyla, not Kayla. Okay, look at this. Post-processing in Blueprint is not using the right skeleton. So list full body post-process and MVP. Save it and check it against list. Work. List, well, list is list. You have no problem here. Yeah, this is working. Megumi. Yep. List full body post process. Save it. Yeah, working. Roy is working. I will double check this, but it's working. Yeah. And finally Shigeru. Yeah, post process is broken. Roy full body post process and MVP. Okay, and the preview. Sorry, Roy is working. Okay, so we have our 6 head mesh using this full skeleton, full merged skeleton mesh with the skeleton. We're almost there. Mutable, our customizable object, and we need 2 enums here. This is gonna be male heads and another one called female head, of course. Let's select an export pin here and here, and let's name it male heads input, and let me check. Okay, female head input, and in male head we need 3 enums, 3 enumerations, 3 names, and it's gonna be Roy, Shigeru, and icon. Okay, Roy, Shigeru, and icon. For female, 3 again. Liz, Megumi, and Kayla. Okay, Liz, Megumi, and Kayla. Liz, Megumi, and Kayla. And with this we have the possibility to swap genders and heads. Okay, compile and save. Come on, you can do it. Save. And let's connect this again. You will not see anything here because here in the preview we are loading a full mesh, body and head, and also we're loading another head. So should be some certified in here. No, you can see anything, but there is some neckline here. We'll fix that. Okay, for now we can close this and open. Let's start with the main one. Import. Where is the enum? No. This is import pin. Import enum pin there. And select character and mail head input. Okay. From here make a component switch. Sorry. And instead of exporting just the output of this component, we will connect the mail head to Roy and this to head. Mail head now will be Roy head. Okay. This like here. And I want to preview here, so compile and save. Come on. There. Okay. If we select Skeletal, we shouldn't see anything. Yes, there's no difference because our full body mesh is actually there. So let's go with Skeletal. The second one, yes, is Skeletal. And I know that we have imported the LODs, but let's disable everything instead of LOD 0. We will enable all this later. These are not the imported LODs. These are the LODs for this head. Because it's a metahuman, it has 7 levels of detail. I will tell you later how we will deal with that, but now I want to have something that we can work with there. Only the LOD servers. Mesh section. Okay. And we need a mesh component. Call it Shigeru head. And we're going to use this one and select just one LOD. So it's basically the same thing that we did here. There. Okay, repeat the process here and connect with Shigeru. One more time with icon. The reason why I'm dragging from here and selecting next section is because our materials are automatically set here, and if you just select mesh section here, you don't have the material, so it's faster. It's faster that way. Icon. Okay, same thing, just LOD 0 and repeat all this. There. Now we need a mesh component. Call it icon here, icon here, icon, and select this head and there. There. So if we swap male heads right now, we will see here our new faces. Just give me a second until I finish compiling this. Okay, look at this. You see it? Okay, this is Shigeru, is on top of this, and icon is there. So what we need to do is to hide the original face of our full merged skeleton. But the key here is how do we hide one mesh and show the other. But before that, I want to repeat this process with the female. Here we are in the female heads, and I have already switched this to my updated list face mesh, and we need to repeat the process. Okay, so the first thing is to select import pin enum. It's gonna be our character, but in this case it's female head input. Component switch. Just put this here. List and there. And our female head will be our list head. And now I need to repeat all the process for the other two females. Okay, I will cut the video, edit, and show you the final results. Okay, done. This face mesh. This head is the same reference skeletal mesh, and all the materials. Megumi, the component uses the same face mesh as reference, and all the materials. Kayla, the component using the same face mesh and all the materials. And I connect list head to list, Megumi to Megumi, Kayla to Kayla. Let's select this character so we can preview something. and save. Oof. Select female. And if we swap to it, if we select Megumi, you can see Megumi here, and Kale is here too. Okay, let's finish this. We need to add modifiers. Modifier in this case will be nodes of the type clips that will hide or cut or slice, whatever you want to call it, certain parts of a given mesh. That is because when you are adding two mesh together, for example, when we add two heads here, you immediately see that those two meshes occupy the same space and that they are fighting constantly for the rendering, basically. So you need to hide some part and show others. Okay, I will explain you with an example. It will be easier that way. And I will disconnect the heads because I want to work just with the body without the head in the middle. We will see the head here because it's part of the mesh, of course, but we will cut that head off. There. This same, I don't know if you can see this or if you will see this. Yes, this is not a problem with Mutable. This is a problem with Metahumans. Let me fix this. Okay. Now, we're going to use clip. I prefer this one. What this modifier does, you can read in the description, define a cutting plane on a bone to cut a tagged material that go past it. In order to use this, we need to specify a skeleton mesh component, like this one. Okay. Okay. This is this. Jesus Christ! This is why I am seeing this. No, yeah, here. This is because we're using the full body here, and here we're using just the. Jesus. Okay, fix that. Yeah. No seam now. Okay, that's it. So let's open the female because it has the same problem here. Yeah, look at this. No, here is not so noticeable, but we will fix it anyway. Female, and we'll use the full body. Compile and save. There. Okay, let's go back with this. Okay, clip mesh with planar morph. This actually define a cutting plane. I will show you in a few seconds. On a specific bone, and the bone is referenced with the bone is extracted for the reference skeleton component that you define here. So we have the male body, okay? Male body there. And if I select here male body and click outside this, I see the list of the bones here. I prefer to use an export modifier pin, and I will call it male full body clip. Okay, male full body clip. and give me a second. Here I will use a import modifier pin and select the mail body and select our mail full body clip and connect this to the modifier section and compile and save. Okay, now here is where you define in which bone you will see the plane, and here are all the options that you have for that plane, like the position, the offset, the radius. If I remember correctly, I used the neck 1 or 2. I think that this was neck 2. Now, as you can see, this is terrible to navigate, and I will show you something even worse in a few minutes. Neck 2 there, and here's your plane. Okay, so if I compile, the mesh will be cut here. Okay, give me a second that I will increase this. Okay, first thing that I hate about this kind of workflow, you don't have any way of making any rotation here. I will just paste my setup here, but I can rotate it from here. I need to go here and rotate, yes, like 30 degrees. Okay, and I will copy here again, 2.4 seconds. I spent a lot of time last weekend figuring out what is the best combination of morph length, morph offset. I think that this is actually quite good. As you can see, the blend in will start here and end here. Okay, from here to here. And let me check one more thing. Yes, as you can see, this is horrible. The radius should be inside the neck. So if I remember correctly, it was 5 and 6.5. I think that's the value. We need something to hide. Here you will I don't know how to say it, but here you will find your name inside Mutable. I know that this is not something that I should say after 2 hours of a video, but the way that Mutable handle clips is with tags. Okay, here Mutable knows what is the plane, what is the angle, everything, but it doesn't know what to hide. You need to specify that here. If I click here, look at this. What you have here are all the material or the mesh section that you have in this entire setup. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 10 mesh sections, and here we have more than 10 because it's using all the one inside the head too, all the one here. So the question is, which one of all these are the one that we need to hide? well, you don't. However, there is a way where you can actually guess which one of all the midsection is the one that you need to hide, and in this case it's the head, so it's like this one, not the body. This I want to hide the head. The first thing I need to hide is the head. Later we will hide the eyes and everything else. So this is the section that we need to hide. Not the entire head, but just from this plane to the top. And we have to use the same thing, tags. So we will add a tag here. You need to define a naming convention here too, because you will get lost in your tags immediately. So I will use this. I will say male full body head. Okay, male full body head, and click enter. And here what we have done is tag this mesh section. And now here, if we click in this plus button, here we can see that this one has the male full body head. And if we select this and compile, come on, do it. There. As you can see, we have cut the head, but, and this is the important part, look at this, we have added a nice blend in to this radius. Actually, we can actually increase the radius, because it will not look nice here. For example, let's move this there. The mesh has this blend in inside the head and it doesn't look nice. Well, I will fix that later, but as you can see, we have hide everything from here to the top. Now we need to hide the eyes, the mouth, the teeth. So we need to repeat the process of tagging everything to all these sections. Clearly it's not a mature feature, this one, tags, but it's the only thing that we have to hide certain part of the mesh. So this will be, if this is the male full body head, this will be the male full body teeth. Okay, and come back here and select also the male full body teeth, and compile and save. There, it's out. Lacrimal will be male full body lacrimal. Yes, male full body lacrimal. Actually, I will copy this, and here I will select male full body lacrimal. There. This will be I refractive, no, just eyes L, left eye, done. Okay, left eye. This is awful, really. This is horrible. No, what I did? No, sorry. This one. Okay, let's copy this here and we will select right eye, and select here right eye. When I figure out this, because you have nothing in the documentation that explains this, and I have to figure it out by myself, and when I get it, I was like, no. Please no. Give me something to tag in an easier way. There, look at this, we have something left. Eyes occlusion is that. Eye occlusion. Enter. No, sorry. Well, we can check that if you wanted to. Look at this. Yeah, we can do that and select the eyes occlusion here. A slash. Just a slash. There, a slash. This will be lacrimal 2 because we have one lacrimal 2. Just in case. Lacrimal 2. And finally, cartilaga. There. And select here too. There. Okay, compile and save. And we don't have the head. It's clean now. Okay, so let's come back here and connect our head for a second. Come on. We won't see any change when we are using ROI, but after I switch to, let's say, econ, you will see that we have to do some extra steps. Econ, look at this. Okay. Okay, now we have two things. First is that econ is perfect here. Okay, from this plane to the top, we have no problem. But we have zeta fighting here. Below this, we have zeta fighting. Now, technically speaking, Unreal Engine 5.6 will have improvement to the Mutable plugin, and one of those is the ability to solve this problem. But I need to find a solution, at least a temporary solution for this problem. And what I think of was to use the same technique with the head. So let's close this for now. Let's keep this here. Here. So we need clip mesh with plane and morph. Clip mesh with plane and morph. And let's create an export. Let's call it male head stretch. Okay. Now here we use. Okay. Now let's connect this first. We will use male head, and male head stretch. There. Okay, if you can see here, the head, because we haven't compiled this yet, come on, there, and select icon. Okay, here. This might change in the future. Look, there, it's working. Next two. Okay. Now we will do something different this time. Well, the angle will be the same. It was 30 here, 30 degrees. But instead of using a plane that cut below and stretch on the top, we will use something completely inverse. It will cut on the top and stretch below that. Okay, so we will have to invert the plane there, and now as you can see, it's below. The stretch part is below. It's below this plane. Okay, it's exactly the opposite of this. We will play with that so we have a nice transition between the two meshes. 5 in length, 7 radius, and 5.5. Okay, because look at this. We need to expand the bottom part of the neck, and the top one, or we'll say this one, is 5.5. I invite you to try different numbers, but this one actually works quite well. So this should work, but we're missing something important, and is that we don't have nothing to hide. And this is the problem. What do we need to hide? Because we have 3 faces and we have a lot of material. In this case, it's quite the opposite, because we're hiding from the neck to the torso, and in this section we are not using any of this. So it's simple, just the head. Okay, but we need 3 materials, 3 heads. I will call the first one male head, Roy head. Male head because we need to repeat this process with the female, and the female will have a category called female head. So as you can see, the first time is the category and the second one is the actual material. That is the way that I prefer to work. Male head to identify better this material when we are using everything, and Roy head because we need to specify this material and not the other ones. So enter. This is the Shigeru one. Shigeru head. Shigeru, yes, it's correct. And finally, we have here the icon one. Icon here. Okay, we have just tagged the head for Roy, the head for Shigeru, and the head for icon. And here we need to select Roy head, Shigeru's head, and icon head. Okay, compile and save. Okay, look at this. We have fixed some of the problem, but below the cutter line is still awful. Okay, and the important thing is that beside the color of the skin, you can see that there is almost no difference. You can notice anything between the two. Maybe a little here that I will fix later, but it's actually quite good. Now let me show you why we're seeing this here. Okay, we will disconnect temporarily the body, compile and save. Compile and save. And look at this. Okay, I think that you can see it. Okay. All the mesh from this point to the bottom is still there. And this clip with mesh just create a nice transition between this mesh and the one that is below, but we didn't cut the mesh from here to the bottom the way we did it here. Okay, remember that here, if I disconnect the head, we can see this part of the head, this part of the mesh. So when we work like this from the bottom to the top, for some reason actually hide everything above this this ellipse, but when we invert this, below this ellipse the mesh is still visible. So we need to add a second clip to cut all this part. Okay, I made some changes here. We have -4, -1.5, and the length is 9. Below that nothing changes because it seems that this modifier cannot be applied to the borders of this mesh. Let me show you with the entire body. It looks nice, even better, but I cannot remove entirely the setup fighting, and I already know that. But we have to use an additional clip modifier. Okay, compile stuff here. Okay, here as you can see, ignore the texture, but it's actually excellent. Okay, now you have certain fighting here. Okay, before we create a second clip, I made some changes here in case you want to use the same. -2, -1.5, leaves 5, 7, and 5.5 here. Okay, use this. For the second clip, we will use something called remove mesh block. Okay, I will increase the grid size to 32, maybe. Let's create an exporter, mail head block, maybe, and here block. Compile and save here. And here what we can do is, after we feed some tags, we will have the mesh block, the topology here. Mail head Roy, look at this, it's already there. Mail head Shigeru, mail head icon. Okay, there. Oh, this is hard to navigate with. So add block, and we have the block here, and I will expand it there and place it below. And basically everything that we select here will be removed. Okay, let's start with this. Okay, this is fine tuning. Okay, it was too much because we cut part of the mesh here, the visible mesh. So we can increase the resolution to 64. Wow. Try again. Okay, this is quite acceptable. Yes, because the mesh goes in there, and we have removed most of the mesh. Okay, we need to connect the body to see if we can see anything there. Okay, there, this is exactly what I wanted, because not only I don't have setup fighting, but also the back part of the neck is the actual full body mesh. So if I implement a muscular morph, I will need to access this part. For example, this muscle can go up to here, because this is part of the body part, not the head. I will be able to add that morph without impacting in the head. Okay, I don't know what time it is, but it's just too late. Okay, we're almost ready with the male version. The only thing that we're missing is to switch the texture, and we need to do it here and here. Let's begin with the body. Select this. We are in male bodies. Ctrl C, Ctrl V 2 times. Okay, and this is the body synthesize for Roy. Let's go with icon. It's in Roy material. This should be in icon materials. This is the one. Okay, this one. And Shigeru materials, this one. Okay, this one. And now we need to switch between these three. Let me check. No, you don't have that here. You can connect this here and here and check that the material is still the one. Yes, we still conserve the material, but we need to switch this. So input, enum input, character male head inputs. Switch mesh section switch. Connect right here. This is Shigeru, yes. And this is icon, yes. And connect this here. So now I will compile and save. If I change this to Shigeru, look at this. And icon. We're changing the body, but not this part because, sorry, this part that we're seeing here is not part of the head mesh, but it's part of the entire body. If we hide the head, we will see that this remains in the same piece. Okay, so we need to do the same that we did here for the head. And I will make some space here. There. Okay. Control C, B, head mesh. This will be Shigeru and this will be icon. I need to fix the material, okay? This is Metahuman Roy material baked, this one, so we will use Shigeru face material baked. The first one goes here, and icon face materials baked, the first one. There. Okay, compile and save. And there you go. So I need to repeat the process for the female, but there. Okay. Everything is perfect here. Okay, this is the female. Okay, same structure. Female head, Liz head. Female head, Megumi head. Female head, Caleb head. Please consider that these tags are also available in, for example, other objects. So if you just say here head or Caleb head, remember that here you also have a Caleb head. Okay, well, this is the head, but this is actually the object that handles the skeleton. So you need certain hierarchy in your tags. You need to implement something that tells you what tags belong to what customizable object. And you don't have anything here. You don't have a tag manager. So try to use names that are easy to follow and that tell you exactly what section you are actually selecting here. Okay, same. Okay, this is the full body, and I have the material for Liz, the material for Mikumi, the material for Kyla, the head for list head for Megumi and the head for Kyla. And this is Megumi and this is Kyla. Okay. One thing that I made different here is that I was not happy with the I was not happy with the vertical plane because it's create a strange deformation in the neck, so I have to go to a plain one. And then I remove mesh block. This is not the head, this is the body, so I use 2 clips for the head and 2 clips for the body. And what I did was to hide from the top up till here. Let me show you quickly. I will disconnect the head. Look at this, I have 4. And I will disconnect this. There. The plane actually goes from here to here. There. And just in case that some eyes or teeth show up, because it happens from time to time, I just create all this to block some part of this chin. Yeah. Okay. Technically speaking, I could write this a bit, and yes, just like this. Okay. This is so uncomfortable to work with. Okay, this is the remove mesh block node, and I remove from the top up till here. Okay, and this is the clip, and what I did was to instead of selecting an angle, I decided to do it just like this. And these are my setup -1, 1.1, and look at this. I create the radius to 0. I set the radius to 0.5 and the length to 0.5. So it's just, this should be 1 actually. But if I set 1, I have to put this to 0.6 here, there. Let me check. Yeah, there. Yes. If you use a morph length below 1, some pixel may behave oddly, and if you set the radius to 0, you will break the node actually. So at least 0 point something. Okay, I think that this is fine. Let's reconnect everything. But again, this is fine tuning. Sorry, this is fine tuning, and it's up to you. Okay, look at this. This is perfect. Megumi, Kyla. Okay. Oh no. Look at this. Okay. This is why say that you have to correct this pixel by pixel. It's not the best tool for the job, but I think that it's just a matter of get used to it. Okay, this is the final setup. Okay, I think that this is all. Cleavage with planar morphs, you can check the values here. Remove blocks for the male bodies. This is my setup. Okay, this is the body. I have a small angle here, and the block, and the female. The more mutable object that you open, the more tabs that you have, the more possibility that you have to crash the editor, because really it's intensive. Last time I checked, I was using like almost 20-30 gigabytes of RAM, so be careful. You open just one by one. This is my female bodies, mesh with plane and morph. These are my values. And remove mesh block. Okay. Finally, this is female head. This is the plane. These are the values. And remove mesh blocks is this. Okay, that's all. So open ROI. So we have icon, ROI, and Shigeru again. No same here. Icon is the most problematic one. It's almost perfect. Maybe here you have something that is barely visible. And of course, right. And let's go with Liz. Okay, this is Liz. Megumi. Megumi's. Oh, look at this! I didn't see that. Okay. Because I was looking at Kayla. No, Kayla does it. But this is actually quite easy to fix because this is not a neckline. It's that the block mesh is too high. I will fix it immediately. Here's the problem. There. Yeah, that was easy to fix. And let me check Kyla. Yep. Okay, there's just one thing to do, and it's to test this inside Game Animations App. Okay, I set up everything here. That's for the next class. Okay, we have a list here. Okay. let's change it to Megumi. Megumi here. Okay. Finally we have Kayla. There's Kayla. Okay guys, after almost 3 hours, I think 2 hours and a half, we made it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this class, and I will see you in the next one.